Hello, and welcome back to EarthBound Beginnings. Last time we ended in this department store, so why not show off what it has to offer? On the bottom floor we can return items and get some money back. On the second floor, the drugs floor, we can buy some healing items, some very useful stuff on this floor, but we can't really afford any of it right now. The third floor is the sporting goods floor. We can buy some weapons. We've already got the plastic bat, and of course those other two things we really can't afford right now. Fourth floor is the foods floor. You can buy some foods. We probably could afford some of this stuff, but I'm hesitant to kind of spend money right now. And on the fifth floor, it's the pet floor, except all the pets have escaped, and only one canary chick remains. I would love that canary chick, but $85? That's just too steep. Luckily, we are master negotiators, and by just saying no, we have talked him down from $85 to $0. That is a pretty good deal, if you ask me. So let's look at our new canary chick. Aww, its eyes show sadness. Doesn't that just break your heart? That's an interesting theory. Could someone be controlling the animals? Who knows? Alright, so it's not super clear that this is what we're supposed to do, and in fact we can kind of skip this if we really want to. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to take that canary chick that we just got for $0, and we're going to return it to Canary Village. Why are we going to do that? Well, you'll see. On our way to Canary Village, we're going to run into a new enemy. It is the hippie. The hippie is a very, very classic EarthBound enemy. He gets his own little Chuck Berry rock and roll music, as all hippies do, of course. And the hippie can fly into a rage. And that increases his offense significantly. How significantly? This significantly. Pretty significantly. Significantly enough that he kills me and I am dead. This is our first death of the game, so get used to this screen. So we can keep going or we can give it up. But we're obviously going to keep going, guys. Come on. We gotta get back on that fighting scene. So when you die, the money on your person is halved, cut in half. So that's a little rough. But the money in the ATM, that stays safe. That's good. So what you want to do before you go into anywhere dangerous is put all your money in the ATM, dude. Trust me. The other thing that happens is that your HP is put back up to max, but your psychic points are put to 0. It's not a huge deal for us right now because we don't really have any psychic abilities, but I still figure it's a good call to stop in the inn and stay there before we head back up to Canary Village. Plus it gives me an opportunity to show off the hotel. The hotel works as any inn in any RPG works. Spend some money, spend a lot of money, spend pretty much all our money. Get a snooze. With that snooze comes max hit points, max psychic points. So let's take another stab at heading up to Canary Village. And here's another new enemy for us. It is the stray dog. He looks tough, but he's really nothing to really worry about. He doesn't do much damage to us, and all he can really do is that base attack, so he's really nothing to worry about. He's got a chain on, but it doesn't seem to be affixed to anything in particular. But you'd think it'd be dangerous, but this guy is really nothing to worry about. And sure enough, the stray dog became quiet. And we won. We did it. We hit a dog. And here comes another new enemy. It's the snake. The snake looks absolutely thrilled to be here. But the snake is even less of a threat than the stray dog. He does even less damage. He only does 1 damage with that hit. That's some weak hits. He doesn't even do any poison to you at all, or anything like that. Which, you know what, I'm pretty grateful for, because I'm not equipped to deal with any sort of poison shenanigans right now. I don't have anything to deal with that. Looks like we made it to Canary Village, and here are the canaries. But, the canaries are all giving us the silent treatment. They're all giving us that ... Every single canary is gonna tell us that. What could be the problem? Could it have something to do with that sad canary chick I got? Yes. That's exactly what it is. This guy's gonna tell us exactly that. Canary's the baby of the singing Laura. Of course I'm gonna return her baby. I'm not a monster, but where could Laura be? I don't know. Well, luckily, this little white grave is a perspective trick. You sneak up behind it, and here's Laura. You know she's Laura because she says that she's Laura. So let's give her her baby. And that's melody number 2, Under the Belt. And now all the canaries are singing. They're not singing the melody, but they are singing that cute little tweet chirpy thing. That's great. I think we did a good thing here. We returned a baby from a pet store to her mother. That's great. Yeah, it's not super clear why we need the melodies yet, but, you know, trust me, it will. And like I said before, you can skip this melody, and the only thing that'll happen is that you'll just have to come back here later and get it. There is power in song. There is power in song. So we beat up this crow on our way home, and the crow is kind enough to give us the experience we need to level up. Look at all those stats going up. That's great. It probably means all kinds of things, I'm sure. So we head back home, hook ourselves up with some of that roast beef. Sorry, I don't even know what roast beef is. That sounds made up. It's like a hotel, except it's free. It's obviously way better than going to a hotel. Thanks, Mom. Appreciate it. We're also going to drop our basement key off with our sister, because we don't need that key anymore, and it's taken up a whole slot of inventory. We got 8 precious slots, and we got to spend them wisely. So when you die, you spawn back where you saved last. So I decide to save here, so that when I die, not if, when, I will die. When I die, I come right back here. I can hook myself up with some roast beef and get right back to business. It's a very, very efficient way of going about it. Even though it's kind of a longer trek to get back to Podunk, it's, I think, worth it. So let's head south and see what's going on, see if we can't solve the mystery of that missing girl from last episode, who wandered into the cemetery. Wonder if this NPC has anything to say. Well, turns out that NPC is a zombie. Not just any zombie, a pseudo-zombie. And this pseudo-zombie is putting the hurt on me. 10, 9, that's look, I'm just gonna tell you right out, I do not survive this fight. Here's what I think this fight is. I think this fight is kind of like a heads up. Like, hey, here's the kind of enemy that you're gonna be facing in the cemetery. If you can deal with this guy, you're probably good to go, but if you can't deal with this guy, bad news, bud. You're probably gonna have to do a bit of grinding, fight some weaker enemies until you get that level up that you need. So that's exactly what I do, I'm afraid. Set up shop here, get that roast beef, go out, beat up some enemies. Yeah, this game is pretty poorly balanced when it comes to this whole grinding business, as a lot of these very early RPGs are. There's a lot of points where you kind of are like very underleveled. You gotta go back. There's nothing you can do except beat up some dudes. Hey, here's a new enemy. His name is Wally. He's got a grimace and a pitchfork in his hand. Just like the hippie, he can fly into a rage, start putting the hurt on you real hard. I do not like looking at Wally. He is clearly an untrustworthy fellow. He's so grumpy looking, but you know what? Luckily, we don't have to worry about him anymore. He's done. So back to the grind. Later games are a lot better at this whole kind of. There's not as much grinding in later EarthBound games, I find personally. There's a bit, but nowhere near as much as there is in this game. I'm obviously being very, very gratuitous with my editing here. You don't want to see me grind out the whole. Like, that's no fun to watch, right? Right. So yeah, I beat up dudes, hit up that roast beef, beat up some more dudes, hit up that roast beef. And finally, good old Wally gives us the experience we need to get to level 4. And with that, I'm feeling a lot more confident about... well, I'm not feeling super confident, but I'm feeling like it's worth another shot, maybe, to try out that pseudo-zombie. Not only that, beating up all those enemies gave us some sweet, sweet cash. Alright, so on our way back, we beat up a crow, Now, an interesting thing, you learn psychic moves separately from leveling up. It's like a whole different set of things. Anyways, we've learned Life Up Alpha, which is very helpful, and we can use that outside of battle. We've also learned Hypnosis, which we can only use inside of battle. We also decide to swing by the drugstore, and I've got some money. I don't really want to spend it all in one place, though. So I just buy 2 antidotes. That's what I do. Turns out to not be a great call, because I never wind up getting poisoned. But, you know, there are worse calls I could have made. And plus, I, want to save my money, right? Don't want to spend it all in one place. That's just unwise. So how are we going to fare against this pseudo-zombie now that we are level 4 and we have a healing spell? Well, he's still putting the hurt on us pretty good. And that's kind of troubling. But as long as we play it safe and use Healing Alpha, or Life Up Alpha, Life Up Alpha, once we fall around 20 or below then we're good to go. It's kind of a drawn-out battle, but I mean, we're gonna make it, and it really changes the whole game. No longer are we just attacking, now we're attacking and healing. Another nice thing about Life Up is that if you turn on auto fight, your character will automatically use Life Up Alpha if they can afford to, and once your hit points fall below a certain threshold. So that's a really nice feature of the auto fight system. Like, it's a very good system. It makes this whole game that's already kind of a grind just a little less of a grind, and that kind of makes all the difference. And this guy, he turns out to be a zombie too, wouldn't you know it? But I take care of him just the same. I edited that fight out if that wasn't clear. I didn't just beat him in one hit. That fight went pretty much exactly the same as the other one. So I decide to go home. On my way home, I run into a stray dog. The stray dog drops a flea bag. What could the flea bag possibly even be? What could it be? Turns out it's exactly what it says it is. It's exactly what you think it is. I get to throw it at an enemy, I guess. What effect will it have? I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out. So I swing home, get some roast beef. I also decide to show off this burger shop, because I skipped it before, except this NPC owns me so thoroughly that I am just too embarrassed to even bother talking to the waitress. So after all that, I think we're ready to give the cemetery a shot. I think we're ready to give it a go. Or we would be if Wally and these hippies would leave us alone for like a second. Just like a second. So this sign tells us that there's a healer's house to the west and that the cemetery is past the bridge. What does the healer's house have to offer? I really want to know. If this crow would just, give me a second. I'm feeling exploratory too. So what's past the healer's house? Is there stuff past the healer's house? Turns out it's just a path to loop back up to Podunk if you really want to get back up there. Nothing special. So back at the healer's house. Looks a lot like the dude from Canary Village. And he can do 2 things. He can charge our psychic points or cure stone illness, which we haven't run into yet. I'd like some psychic points, but wouldn't you know it, costs money, just like most things. There's also a phone here, so I could set up shop here if I really wanted to. But I'm still feeling more comfortable setting up shop at Mom's house, getting that free roast beef, And with that, after we beat up this stray dog, we're gonna cross the bridge. What kind of enemies are we gonna run into across the bridge? Well, we're gonna have to wait till next time to find out, I'm afraid, because we're out of time. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.